and he talks about going to the courts of heaven. Would you briefly describe that?
Yeah, I believe that there's a spiritual dimension called the courts of heaven out of Daniel 7:10, where it says the court was seated and the books were open. Mm-hmm. And I believe it's what I call the third realm of prayer, because when Jesus taught us on prayer in Luke 11, he said we should approach God as Father and friend, but then in Luke 18 he added, approach him also as judge. When we approach God as Father or friend, that's a very deep, intimate relationship. But when we come before him as judge, that's a very reverential place.
People are getting healed that never got healed before. This revelation is amazing. How did God show it to you?
Well, it came out of my own desperation and necessity. Initially, I had a son that was set in depression, that was not given to depression. He was there for 2 years. And I had actually battled and warred on the battlefield in prayer, so to speak. But all of a sudden, the Lord whispered to me and said, bring him to my courts. And when I did that, out of the limited understanding I had at that time, according to Romans 8:26, the Bible says when we don't know how to pray, he helps us. And so he began to help me, and he led me through the process in the courts of heaven. And a week and a half later, my son calls and says, Dad, can I talk to you? And I said, absolutely. And he says, I don't know what happened, but a week and a half ago, all the depression left.